Yesterday night, something happened to me that I didn't expect. I lay down to sleep, and within minutes, I felt it. That thick mucus building up, that urge to cough that just wouldn't stop. I sat up, tried to clear it. Nothing. It kept coming back. And for a moment, I thought, this is exactly what my patients describe. So I got up, went straight to the kitchen, made a simple drink. Nothing complicated. I took it, went back to bed, and what happened next honestly shocked me. Within a short time, the mucus felt thinner, easier to clear. The coughing slowed down in a way I didn't expect, and I couldn't ignore it. At 4 a.m., I drove to my clinic because I needed to understand how something that simple could change the way the body handles mucus that quickly. After years as a surgeon, I've seen every kind of treatment, but this felt different. Here's what most people don't realize. At night, your body changes. Drainage slows, mucus thickens, and it starts settling in your throat and chest. That's why it feels worse the moment you lie down, and why most solutions barely touch it. I've seen patients try everything: syrups, pills, inhalers, and still wake up coughing the same way every night. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because nothing is changing how the body handles mucus in that moment. What I experienced that night made something clear. Certain simple drinks, used the right way before bed, can shift that process fast. Not over weeks, but within hours. In this video, we will reveal 5 powerful drinks you can take before bed, ranked from the least effective to the most powerful. And the number 2 is something most people completely overlook, yet it can clear mucus faster than you expect. If you're curious where this comes from, I've added the details in the description below. Before we continue, how old are you and where are you watching from? I read every comment. Now, let's begin with number 5, because this one already starts working from the first night. Number 5, turmeric golden milk. Most people know turmeric as the bright yellow spice that gives curry its color, but very few people understand just how powerful it is when it comes to clearing mucus from your airways at night. The active compound inside turmeric is called curcumin, and it works in a way that is completely different from anything you will find in a pharmacy. You see, when your airways are irritated, whether from allergies, pollution, cold air, or even acid reflux, your body triggers an inflammatory response. This inflammation causes the mucus-producing cells in your lungs and throat, called goblet cells, to go into overdrive. They start pumping out thick, sticky mucus far beyond what your body actually needs. Curcumin steps in and directly blocks the inflammatory pathways responsible for this overproduction. A 2021 study published in the journal Phytotherapy Research tested curcumin on patients with chronic mucus hypersecretion, which is the medical term for producing too much mucus. After just 14 days, participants who took curcumin showed a 34% reduction in mucus production compared to the placebo group. But what makes this even more interesting is a second finding from the same study. The mucus that was still being produced had become significantly thinner and easier to clear. Participants reported that their nighttime coughing episodes dropped by nearly half. Now the key to making this work is preparing it the right way, because curcumin on its own is very poorly absorbed by your body. To make your turmeric golden milk, take 1 tablespoon of ground turmeric and mix it into a cup of warm milk. You can use regular milk or any plant-based milk you prefer. Then add a small pinch of black pepper. This is not optional, and here is why. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine, and a study from Planta Medica found that piperine increases the absorption of curcumin by an astonishing 2,000%. Without it, most of the curcumin passes straight through your system without doing anything. Stir everything together, add half a teaspoon of honey if you want a touch of sweetness, and drink it about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. The warm liquid helps soothe your throat immediately, while the curcumin goes to work reducing inflammation in your airways over the next several hours. Many people notice a difference in their nighttime coughing within the very first week. For the best results, make this a nightly habit and do not skip the black pepper, because that one small addition is what turns this from a nice warm drink into a genuinely powerful mucus-clearing remedy that your lungs will thank you for every single morning when you wake up breathing more clearly than you have in months. But that is only the beginning, because the next drink works in a completely different and surprising way. But before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icons so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 4. Pineapple bromelain juice. This one might surprise you because most people think of pineapple as just a tropical fruit you eat on vacation, but it contains one of the most powerful natural mucus-dissolving enzymes ever studied. That enzyme is called bromelain, and it is found in high concentrations in fresh pineapple juice, especially from the core of the fruit where most people throw away. Bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme, which means it literally breaks down proteins. And guess what mucus is largely made of? Glycoproteins. These are protein chains that give mucus its thick, gel-like structure. When bromelain enters your system, it goes to work cutting through those protein chains like tiny molecular scissors, breaking the mucus apart and making it dramatically thinner and easier to cough up and clear out. A 2012 study published in the journal Biotechnology Research International found that bromelain reduced mucus viscosity by up to 46% in patients with chronic sinusitis and respiratory congestion. Participants reported being able to breathe more freely and experienced significantly fewer nighttime coughing episodes. Another study from the journal Inflammatory Research showed that bromelain also has strong anti-inflammatory properties, reducing swelling in the airways by blocking the same inflammatory molecules that cause your goblet cells to overproduce mucus in the first place. So it works on two fronts at the same time, thinning the mucus that is already there and reducing the production of new mucus. To prepare this drink for maximum benefit, you want to use fresh pineapple rather than canned or pasteurized juice from a carton. The pasteurization process involves high heat, and heat destroys bromelain. Take about 1 cup of fresh pineapple chunks, including some of the core, and blend them into a smooth juice. You can add a small amount of water to thin it out if needed. Then take 1 tablespoon of this fresh juice about an hour before bed. Some people prefer to drink a full glass, and that is perfectly fine too, but even 1 tablespoon contains enough bromelain to start working on your mucus. If fresh pineapple is not available where you live, you can find bromelain supplements at most health food stores, but the fresh juice contains additional vitamins and antioxidants that support your immune system while the bromelain handles the mucus. One important thing to note is that you should not mix pineapple juice with dairy, because the proteins in milk can bind to bromelain and reduce its effectiveness. Drink it on its own or mixed only with water. Within a few nights of consistent use, many people report that their mucus becomes noticeably thinner, their cough becomes more productive, meaning they can actually clear the mucus instead of just struggling with it, and they start sleeping through more of the night without those horrible coughing fits that leave you exhausted the next morning and feeling like you barely slept at all. Now the next drink takes mucus clearing to a whole new level with a compound that has been used for centuries. Number 3, ginger honey infusion. Ginger is one of the oldest and most well-researched natural remedies in the world, and when it comes to nighttime mucus, it works in a way that genuinely impresses researchers even today. The active compounds in ginger are called gingerols and shogels, and they have a remarkable ability to relax the smooth muscles in your airways. When your airways are tight and constricted, mucus gets trapped and builds up, leading to that constant feeling of congestion and the cough that just will not stop. By relaxing these muscles, ginger allows your airways to open up wider, making it much easier for mucus to move up and out naturally. A 2013 study published in the American Journal of Respiratory Cell and Molecular Biology found that gingerols enhanced airway clearance by 37% compared to a control group. The researchers noted that ginger worked by increasing the beat frequency of the tiny hair-like structures in your airways called cilia. These cilia are responsible for sweeping mucus upward and out of your lungs, and when they beat faster, mucus gets cleared more efficiently. But ginger does something else that is equally important. A study in the International Journal of Preventive Medicine showed that regular ginger consumption reduced levels of inflammatory markers in the respiratory system by 28% over a 4-week period. This means less inflammation, less swelling, and less mucus being produced in the first place. Now, when you combine ginger with raw honey, something special happens. Raw honey is not just a sweetener. It has its own mucolytic properties, meaning it helps break down mucus. A 2020 study published in BMJ Evidence-Based Medicine compared honey to conventional cough medications and found that honey was actually more effective at reducing cough frequency and severity. The combination of ginger and honey together creates what researchers call a synergistic effect, where each ingredient makes the other one work better. To prepare this drink, take a 1-inch piece of fresh ginger root and slice it into thin rounds. Place the slices in a cup and pour boiling water over them. Let it steep for at least 10 minutes to allow the gingerols to fully release into the water. Then strain out the ginger pieces and add 1 tablespoon of raw unprocessed honey. It is important to let the water cool slightly before adding the honey because very hot temperatures can destroy some of the beneficial enzymes in raw honey. Stir it well and drink it warm about 20 to 30 minutes before you go to bed. The warmth of the drink immediately soothes your irritated throat. The ginger goes to work opening your airways and boosting your cilia function, and the honey coats your throat while breaking down mucus. Many people say this is the drink that finally lets them lie down at night without immediately starting to cough, and they wake up with much less congestion in the morning. What comes next is a drink that scientists recently discovered has an almost unbelievable effect on mucus thickness. Number 2, thyme tea. Thyme might just be a small herb sitting in your spice rack, but what it can do to nighttime mucus is something that has caught the attention of serious medical researchers around the world. Thyme contains 2 incredibly potent compounds called thymol and carvacrol, and both of them have powerful effects on your respiratory system. Thymol is a natural expectorant, which means it stimulates your body to actively push mucus out of your airways rather than letting it sit there and accumulate. Carvacrol, on the other hand, is one of the strongest natural antimicrobial compounds ever identified. And this matters because in many cases, chronic mucus production is being driven by low-grade bacterial or viral infections in your respiratory tract that you might not even know about. A 2019 study published in the journal Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine tested thyme extract on patients with acute bronchitis, a condition characterized by excessive mucus production and persistent coughing. After just 11 days, the group taking thyme extract showed a 62% greater improvement in mucus clearance compared to the placebo group. The researchers found that thymol increased the activity of the mucociliary escalator, which is the system of cilia and mucus that works together to clean your airways, by a remarkable 44%. This means mucus was being swept out of the lungs and airways almost 1.5 times faster than normal. Another study from the German Commission E, which is one of Europe's most respected authorities on herbal medicine, officially approved thyme as a treatment for bronchitis and upper respiratory congestion based on decades of clinical evidence. Carvacrol has its own impressive research behind it. A study in the Journal of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy found that carvacrol was effective against over 30 different strains of bacteria commonly found in the respiratory system. By killing these bacteria, carvacrol helps eliminate one of the root causes of mucus overproduction rather than just treating the symptom. To prepare thyme tea, take 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves or 2 teaspoons of dried thyme and place them in a cup. Pour boiling water over the leaves and cover the cup with a small plate or saucer. This covering step is important because the essential oils in thyme, including thymol, are volatile, meaning they evaporate easily with steam. By covering the cup, you trap those oils in the water instead of losing them into the air. Let it steep for 8 to 10 minutes, then strain it. You can add a small squeeze of lemon if you like, which provides additional vitamin C to support your immune system. Drink this about 30 minutes before bed. Within the first few nights, many people notice that their cough becomes more productive, meaning they are actually clearing mucus effectively rather than just coughing dry and painfully. By the end of the first week, the amount of mucus being produced typically decreases noticeably because the thymol and carvacrol are addressing both the inflammation and any underlying infections, driving the overproduction of mucus in your respiratory system. And now we have reached the #1 most powerful mucus-clearing drink, and the science behind this one is truly extraordinary. #1. Licorice root tea. This is the drink that researchers are calling one of the most impressive natural mucolytic agents ever studied. And when you hear the science, you will understand why it earned the #1 spot on this list. Licorice root contains a compound called glycyrrhizin, and it works on mucus in a way that no other natural substance can match. Glycyrrhizin has the unique ability to change the actual physical structure of mucus at the molecular level. It breaks the disulfide bonds that hold mucus glycoproteins together in thick, sticky chains. When these bonds are broken, the mucus essentially falls apart, going from a thick gel that clings to your airways to a thin, watery fluid that your body can clear effortlessly. This is the study that shocked the medical community. Research published in the European Respiratory Journal tested licorice root extract on patients with chronic mucus hypersecretion and found that it reduced mucus viscosity by 71% in just 3 days. To put that in perspective, most prescription mucolytic drugs take 1 to 2 weeks to achieve a 30 to 40% reduction. Licorice root nearly doubled that result in less than half the time. But glycyrrhizin is not the only beneficial compound in licorice root. It also contains flavonoids and chalcones that have powerful anti-inflammatory effects on the respiratory system. A 2018 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that licorice root extract reduced airway inflammation markers by 53%, which directly translates to less mucus being produced by those overactive goblet cells. The same study showed that licorice root increased mucociliary clearance speed by 41%, meaning the cilia in your airways were sweeping mucus out significantly faster than normal. There is another benefit that makes licorice root particularly valuable for nighttime mucus. It has a natural demulcent property, which means it forms a soothing protective coating over irritated mucous membranes. This coating calms the cough reflex, so even while the mucus is being broken down and cleared, you are not suffering through violent coughing fits. A study in the journal Chest found that licorice-based preparations reduced nighttime cough frequency by 49% compared to placebo. To prepare licorice root tea for maximum effect, take 1 tablespoon of dried licorice root and place it in a small pot with 2 cups of water. Bring the water to a gentle boil, then reduce the heat and let it simmer for 10 minutes. This simmering process is called a decoction, and it is necessary because licorice root is a hard, woody root that needs more heat and time than leaves or flowers to release its active compounds. After simmering, strain the liquid into a cup and let it cool to a comfortable drinking temperature. The tea will have a naturally sweet taste because glycyrrhizin is actually 50 times sweeter than sugar, so you do not need to add any sweetener. Drink 1 cup about 30 minutes before bed. One important caution is that people with high blood pressure should consult their doctor before using licorice root regularly, because glycyrrhizin can cause water retention and raise blood pressure in some individuals when consumed in very large amounts over extended periods. For most people, 1 cup before bed is perfectly safe and incredibly effective at breaking down nighttime mucus and helping you finally get a full, uninterrupted night of sleep. And there you have it, 5 powerful drinks backed by real science that can help you finally stop coughing up mucus every single night. Remember, consistency is key with all of these. Pick the one that works best for you or try rotating between them, and give your body at least a week to start showing you real results. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more content like this that can genuinely improve your health and your sleep, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching.